In a crowded DMV, an older man fails his written test and is brushed aside until a tattooed mechanic pays for a same-day retake and spends his afternoon coaching him. The mechanic risks lost wages and a probation check-in as he draws road signs with a pen and buys an online practice test. The older man passes, and the small room softens as others pick up the mood, hinting at burdens and quiet changes without fanfare. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hey, where are you tuning in from? Leave your country in the comments. I love seeing how far these stories reach. The DMV opens at 9, but the lights come on early. The room smells like floor cleaner and old coffee. Chairs are bolted in rows that face a flickering TV with a loop about long waits and the right forms. The screen hums quietly under the bulbs. People scroll, chew gum, shift feet. No one talks. He sits 2 chairs down from me, small hat on his knee. Thin, older man. Salt and pepper mustache. Worn blazer that used to fit better. He has a folded envelope in both hands like a prayer book. The corner of a bill sticks out. His shoes are shined, a little too much shine for this floor. A clerk woman in a blue polo calls numbers that sound like lottery picks. B063, D102. The printer whirs. A kid with a skateboard yawns. A pregnant woman rubs her lower back and checks the time. The older man keeps glancing at the wall of road sign posters. His lips move. He traces the shape of a yield sign on his knee, like he's drawing it in air. He looks at the vision chart across the room, blinks, and takes a tiny bottle of eye drops from his pocket. He hesitates, puts it back. They call his number, and he shuffles up. He leans on the counter. Please, he says, voice soft, accent gentle. He holds out a form and that folded envelope. The envelope is thick with small bills and coins. It looks like he counted this out over a kitchen table last night. I hear the clerk woman in the blue polo ask the basic questions. Address, date of birth. He nods. He keeps nodding. He goes to the testing booth. Curtain rattles. The skateboard kid snorts quietly and says, "Not really to anyone. Bet he's here all day." The older man comes back faster than I expect, pale. He places a form on the counter. The clerk's eyebrows lift. "You missed the minimum," she says. She points at a line. "You can come back next month," she adds, softer but not soft. "Or pay again today, but policy is 1 retake only." Her voice slides to the next in line. "Next." He doesn't move. "Please," he says again. "I need this now. My permit expired. I am late for work. I pick up my granddaughter at the school 3 days." His hand shakes. 1 coin slips from his envelope and skitters under the counter. Someone behind me sighs loud and rolls eyes. The clock ticks. The TV loops a smiling guy telling us to have our documents ready. The clerk woman in the blue polo does not look up when he says, "Please." Her nails click on the keyboard. She points at a sign about fees and retakes. "Rules, rules." She taps again. The older man's shoulders sink. He folds the envelope closed, like it could hide him. A broad-shouldered man with forearming steps out of our line. Grease on his coveralls. Backward cap. Coffee in one hand, a shop rag stuffed in his pocket. He smells like rubber and early morning. He checks the sign. He looks at the older man. He looks at the clerk woman. "Hey," he says. Not loud. "Enough." He sets his coffee on the counter, next to the sign about exact change only. "Let him take it again," he says. He turns to the older man. "You got time?" The older man blinks, nods, maybe out of shock. The tattooed man nods back, like that's settled. The clerk starts to explain the policy again, the one she has said 12 times today, the one she will say 12 more. He is paying for the retake before she finishes talking. He pulls out a crumpled card. He points at the rule that says 1 same-day retake allowed if paid again. It's there, tiny print. He has seen it. He is not asking for much. "Same day, right?" he says. The clerk pauses. She reads. She sighs. "Fine," she says. "Same day, but only once." He doesn't smile. He doesn't look around for approval. He turns and scans the room like he is choosing a workbench. We take over a side table under a humming light. He drags a plastic chair over with one hand. "Thunk. Sit," he says to the older man. "We'll study." He tosses me a look like I might be useful. I hand over my pen without thinking. He nods once. That's my piece of it. He spreads out free brochures, like engine parts. He circles things. He draws shapes of signs on scrap paper. Red means stop, or wrong way, or bad idea, he says, tapping his ballpoint on the circle. He makes the older man trace the triangle outline again and again until the man's hand shakes less. Left lane ends, he says, and moves two sugar packets together like merging lanes. He's good at this. Easy. No shame. He doesn't talk down. He pulls out his phone. There's a practice test online, he says. He pays a few bucks for the app like he's buying a washer. He tilts the screen to the older man. They go question by question. He listens more than he talks. When the older man's English slips, he pauses and draws it instead. How to take a turn wide, when to yield. He uses his rag to wipe the table crumbs away like a clean bay matters here too. People watch without making it a show. The pregnant woman gets up slow and sits closer so she can hear. A teenager with a hoodie takes out her earbuds and slides a pack of mints toward them. The skateboard kid stops fidgeting. Silence spreads, but not the heavy kind. It's a held breath kind. His phone buzzes and buzzes. He flips it face down. The name on the screen flashes shop in all caps, then mom, then an unknown number. He ignores them. The older man's hands are still. He pulls out a tiny bag with eye drops and cheap readers. The ear hook is wrapped in clear tape. He sets them on his nose and leans in. Glasses broke, he says. Tape okay. The tattooed man nods like it is okay. He is present, like he has done this 100 times with different problems. Oil leaks, timing, tests. A message banner pops up. Docking hours, it says. Another says, probation check-in today. He swipes it away with the back of a knuckle. He calls someone and says, gonna be late. Dock me. And hangs up before the answer. He doesn't explain to us. He doesn't explain to the older man. He just circles another question and says, what does a pentagon mean? The older man says, school zone. He smiles, small, good. The mechanic says, again. After half an hour, the older man stops rubbing his eyes. He starts tapping the answers before the question ends. His shoulders lift a little. He looks at the doors to the test room. He looks back at the table. He whispers, okay. The tattooed man looks at the clock, then at the clerk. He raises 2 fingers. The clerk nods. He goes in again, slower this time. The curtain rattles shut. The room goes very quiet. Even the TV seems to respect it for a second. The skateboard kid stands up and peers. The pregnant woman blows out a breath and rests a hand on her belly like a small prayer for someone else. The older man comes out with color in his face. The clerk takes his form. There is a click of keys. A tiny pause. A thin printer whines and hands out a warm strip of paper. The clerk tears it and slides it across like it is nothing more than the thing it is. He doesn't grab. He takes it with both hands. He bows his head. Thank you, he says to the clerk. He says it to the tattooed man. He says it to the table. He does not cry. He just stands taller. The room feels less sharp around the edges. People talk again, but softer. The pregnant woman asks the hoodie teen if she wants her seat. The teen shakes her head and offers it to an older woman by the door instead. The skateboard kid picks up a gum wrapper from under his shoe and tosses it in the trash without the usual slouch. The clerk woman prints out little language guides from a stack I did not know was there and sets them by the practice table. The tattooed man finally checks his phone. He winces at whatever he sees. He rubs his forehead under the cap brim. Then he leans toward the older man and says, "You good." The older man nods. "I am good," he says. He pats his blazer pocket where the warm strip of paper rests. "I am good now." He opens his envelope. He tries to push a few bills toward the tattooed man. The tattooed man shakes his head once. He pushes the envelope back. "Buy your granddaughter a snack," he says. "No?" The older man says, confused, then laughs. "Yes," he corrects himself. "Yes." He doesn't make a speech. He doesn't take a victory lap. He picks up his coffee, which has gone cold and sweet. He wipes a ring of moisture off the counter with his rag out of habit. He nods at me. I nod back. That is the whole ceremony. Someone leaves a cup of pens on the table and doesn't take them back. The brochure with circles and arrows stays there too, like a map someone might need. The clerk moves the practice table closer to better light without calling it anything or drawing attention. A security guard with a square jaw sets a box of dollar store readers under the window. No sign. People get what it's for. The older man tucks his paper in his wallet, careful. He holds his hat to his chest. He looks at the door like it is a test, too. He makes it to the sidewalk fine. He stares up at the sky along second. It is nothing special. Pale blue, thin clouds. He breathes like he has been holding it for a week. The tattooed man heads for the exit as well. He walks past the poster that says "Be ready" and past the sign that says "No food." His phone buzzes again. He answers this time without saying hello. On my way, he says. Yeah, I know. Dock me. He listens. He says, I'll make it up on Saturday. He hangs up. He looks tired in the way that good kind of tired looks. He rubs grease off his knuckles with the rag until the rag gives up. The older man waits by the door. He hesitates, then steps toward the tattooed man. He does not hug him. He stands close and says, You are kind. The tattooed man flinches like the word is heavy. He shrugs. Wasn't nothing, he says. But I saw the buzzing phone. I saw the probation thing flash. I saw the way he set his coffee aside and the way he circled the triangle over and over until hands stopped shaking. It was something. He steps outside into the light. Out in the parking lot, sunlight finally spills over the hood of a dented sedan. Cold air carries the sweet smell of a food truck warming up. The older man pulls keys from his pocket and drops them, laughs, picks them up again. He unlocks a car that has a child seat in the back. There's a strip of tape on the bumper where it cracked years ago. He sits. He stares at the wheel like it's a first date. The paper license sits on the passenger seat, glowing a little in the sun. Inside, the teenager takes a deep breath and walks into the test room like she's going into a pool. The pregnant woman kicks off one shoe and then the other, and smiles, because the floor is cool and this chair is finally soft. The clerk turns her screen slightly, so the next person can see the line they need. The mood is not fixed forever. It is just better for now. The tattooed man heads to a battered pickup with a toolbox in the bed and a sticker that says support your local shop. He opens the door and sees a lunch bag on the seat. Someone wrote his name on it in marker. He smiles at that, small. He starts the engine. It coughs and then runs steady. He taps the wheel twice. Not a big thing. A check mark. I get called up. I do my business. I pay my fee. I think about how some days you are the one counting coins and some days you are the one with a rag in your pocket. Both are fine. Both are human. It helps when someone like him points at the tiny rule in the tiny print and acts like it was always meant to include you too. Outside, the older man pulls out, signal on, steady. He checks his mirrors, both hands on the wheel. He eases into mid-morning traffic, like he has nothing to prove. The paper on the passenger seat flutters in the vent's breeze like a small white flag. Not surrender, just notice. The tattooed man's truck waits for a break, and then follows, both of them turning right under the same slice of sky.